Dave Dombrowski looked at Bryce Harper's 2025 season and publicly stated that it was not elite. Let that sink in for a second. The president of baseball operations for the Philadelphia Phillies looked at the face of the franchise, a two-time MVP, and essentially told the media that he expects more. You do not poke the bear unless you are fully prepared for the absolute carnage that follows. We are staring down the barrel of a Bryce Harper revenge tour in 2026, and the implications for the rest of the National League are terrifying. Today, we are breaking down 3 bold, data-driven predictions for Bryce Harper this season, and exactly how his resurgence is the ultimate key to ending this city's World Series drought that has haunted us since 2008. Let's get straight into the deep analysis, because the numbers from last year tell a story that the casual fans are completely misinterpreting. Prediction number 1. Bryce Harper will record an OPS of 900 or higher in 2026. Now, I've been thinking about this all day, looking at the spreadsheets, watching the tape from last September. People are acting like Harper fell off a cliff in 2025. He posted an 844 OPS. For 90% of the players in Major League Baseball, an 844 OPS is a career year that gets you a massive contract extension. For Bryce Harper, it's considered a slump. It's considered not elite. But when you peel back the layers and look at the underlying metrics, the foundation for a monster 2026 is glaringly obvious. Last season, playing first base full-time, Harper still sat in the 79th percentile in average exit velocity. He was in the 77th percentile in hard hit percentage and the 77th percentile in barrel percentage. He is still hitting the baseball incredibly hard. So why did the overall production dip? Here is the crucial data point. Harper was in the 14th percentile in sweet spot percentage. He was hitting the ball hard, but he was driving it straight into the ground or popping it up just a fraction too often. That is a mechanical anomaly, a slight launch angle issue that a hitter of his caliber corrects in his sleep during spring training. If he elevates those pitches just a few degrees, those hard-hit grounders turn into absolute missiles into the second deck at Citizens Bank Park. Furthermore, his plate discipline remains elite. He was in the 88th percentile in walk rate last year. He knows exactly what it takes to get on base, and despite what felt like a frustrating year, his strikeout rate was only 20.9%, which is actually lower than his career average of 21.6%. He is not chasing. He is not swinging wildly outside the zone. When you have Kyle Schwarber grinding out at-bats at the top of the lineup and Trea Turner providing lethal protection behind him, Harper is going to get pitches to hit. The last time Harper played at least 140 games and was fully locked in mechanically was 2021, and he posted a 1.044 OPS. While we might not see a 1.044, a 900 OPS is not just a prediction. Based on the peripheral data, it is the statistical baseline for a healthy Bryce Harper. This brings us to prediction number 2, which directly impacts the strategic chessboard of this entire organization. Bryce Harper will finish in the top 5 of the National League MVP voting. Last year, he received 0 MVP votes. 0. For a player with his competitive fire, that is a massive slap in the face. Reports indicate that Harper and Dombrowski have had multiple conversations since the end of the 2025 campaign. You have to imagine those talks were intense, focused, and geared entirely toward one goal: Red October. If Harper hits between 30 and 40 home runs, posts that 900 OPS, and plays a Gold Glove caliber first base, he is instantly back in the MVP conversation. But let's talk about the strategic impact of an MVP-level Harper. Dave Dombrowski is a master team builder, but his entire blueprint for the Phitins relies on the number 3 hitter being an absolute alpha. If Harper is producing at an MVP level, it completely changes Dombrowski's math heading into the trade deadline. If the middle of the order is an unstoppable force, Dombrowski doesn't have to mortgage our top prospects to acquire a rental bat. Instead, he can focus all of his prospect capital on fortifying the bullpen or adding a high-leverage arm to the starting rotation. An MVP-caliber Harper is the ultimate cheat code. It takes the pressure off Alec Boehm, it gives Nick Castellanos better pitches to hit, and it allows the front office to focus strictly on run prevention. This reminds me of the 2022 run, where Harper put the entire city on his back and carried us through the playoffs. When he is right, the entire lineup becomes contagious. Now, let's pivot to the macro view of the season and prediction number 3. The Philadelphia Phillies will win the NL East race. With a motivated MVP contending Bryce Harper leading the charge, the division is ours to lose. Let's evaluate the battlefield. The Washington Nationals are still mired in a prolonged rebuild, trying to develop their young core. The Miami Marlins are in a state of absolute uncertainty, lacking the offensive firepower to compete over a 162-game marathon. The Atlanta Braves, who have been our primary tormentors for years, have been absolutely decimated by injuries. Their rotation is battered, and their lineup lacks the depth it once had. That leaves the New York Mets as the sole, legitimate challenger for the division crown. And look, we have to be objective here. The Mets had a very aggressive offseason. Yes, losing Pete Alonso is a massive blow to their power dynamics, but they pivoted hard. They brought in Freddie Peralta to bolster their rotation, and they acquired Bo Bichette to revamp their infield. The Mets are going to be a problem. They are going to score runs, and they are going to win games. But Philly fans know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this. The Mets always find a way to be the Mets. I've been monitoring the pulse of the fan base all winter. I'm reading the forums. I'm listening to the callers on sports radio. I'm talking to the guys down at the tailgate lots. The voice of the fans is loud and clear right now. There is a mixture of anxiety about the Mets' additions, but it is heavily outweighed by a pure, unadulterated belief in our core. The fans know that a healthy Bryce Harper is the great equalizer. The Mets can add all the pieces they want, but they do not have a player with the sheer gravitational pull of Bryce Harper in high-leverage moments. When the lights get bright in August and September, when the NL East race tightens up and every single pitch feels like a playoff game, who do you trust more? A newly assembled Mets roster trying to find its chemistry, or a battle-tested Phillies squad that has been through the wars together? We have the elite starting rotation with Wheeler and Nola. We have the hostile environment of Citizens Bank Park, where opposing teams simply melt under the pressure. And most importantly, we have a superstar who was just told by his own boss that he wasn't elite last year. This season is about legacy. It's about taking that final step. We have been knocking on the door of a championship for years now. We've had the deep playoff runs, we've had the magical moments, we've seen the fanatic rally the crowd into an absolute frenzy. But the ultimate prize has eluded us. Bryce Harper knows that his legacy in Philadelphia will ultimately be defined by whether or not he brings a parade to Broad Street. The underlying metrics prove he still has the bat speed. The plate discipline proves his baseball IQ is as high as ever. The only thing missing last year was that slight mechanical adjustment and perhaps, just perhaps, that extra chip on his shoulder. Dombrowski gave him that chip. Now, it's time to watch him cash it in. I want to hear from every single one of you diehard Phillies fans out there. Do you believe Bryce Harper is about to unleash an MVP season? Are you worried about the Mets' new additions? Or do you think the NL East belongs to Philadelphia? Drop down into the comments right now and type, "Ring the bell," if you believe this is our year. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications so you never miss an update from the Fightin Phils report. We are grinding tape and bringing you the hard-hitting analysis every single day. Stay passionate, stay loud, and let's get ready for a massive 2026 season.